Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to break down the UGC NET Computer Science previous paper of the year 2006 June paper 2. There are actually 50 questions in this paper. We covered first 25 questions in part 1 already, and the remaining 25 questions are discussed in this video. I will explain complex concepts in simple terms and provide tips and tricks to help you ace the exam. So whether you are a beginner or an experienced one, this video is for you. So let's start the video. So what is the transmission signal coding method for a P1 carrier call? So whether it is called a binary coding, NRZ coding, bipolar coding or Manchester coding. So this is called a bipolar coding. In telecommunication, bipolar encoding is a type of return to zero line code where two non-zero values are used, so that the three values are plus, minus and 0. So option C is the correct one. The transmission signal coding method for a T1 carrier is called bipolar signaling, specifically alternate mark inversion technique. In bipolar signaling, a 1 is represented by alternating positive and negative voltage levels, while a 0 is represented by no voltage level, that is a 0 level. This helps in maintaining synchronization and reducing the DC component in the signal. How much bandwidth is required to send 132 voice gray channels by frequency division multiplexing on an international satellite system? To send 132 voice gray channels by FDM on an international satellite system, 500 MHz bandwidth is required. So option A is the correct one. 500 MHz. Next. What is the difference between Ethernet frame preamble field and the IEEE 802.3 preamble and the start of frame delimiter field? So normally the Ethernet frame it is 8 bytes long. It is used for the synchronization, whereas the IEEE 802.3 preamble and the start frame delimiter preamble is 7 bytes long. So there is a difference of 1 byte long. So Ethernet frame preamble is 1 byte longer than the combined IEEE 802.3 preamble and the SFD. So the answer is A, that is 1 byte. So 1 byte is the answer. Next, what is the function of a translating bridge? Connect similar remote LANs, connect similar local LANs, connect different types of LANs and translate the network address into a layer 2 address. A translating bridge is a type of bridge that interconnects two different types of LANs protocols such as Ethernet and token bridges. Translating bridges are generally very complicated devices. So option C is the correct one. It will connect different types of LANs. Suppose in real time, if you consider a translator will act as an interface between people who know different languages. Suppose two people are there. So one person knows English and another person knows Hindi. So how do they communicate with each other? Through a translator. Right? And translator must know both the languages. So similarly here, the translating bridge will connect to different types of LANs. So here one LAN may be of token ring and another LAN may work on Ethernet. The program used to determine the round trip delay between a workstation and a destination address is called dash. The answer is traceroute. So the program used to determine the round trip delay between a workstation and a destination address. So round trip delay means the time taken to travel from the sender to receiver and then again back from receiver to sender is called round trip delay. So the program that we are using to determine the round trip delay between the workstation and a destination address is called dash. So the answer is a traceroute. Option B. Traceroute is a command which can show you the path a packet of information takes from your computer to one you specify. It will list all the routers it passes through until it reaches the destination or fails to and is discarded. In addition to this, it will help you how long each hop from router to router takes. And coming to the option ping, option C. So let us know about the option C also here. Ping is a computer network administration software entity. It is used to list the reachability of a host on an internet protocol network. Traceroute and traceart both are same, but traceroute is in Linux or Unix based operating system, and traceart can find in Windows based OS as well as in servers. So both options can be true, that is the traceroute and traceart. So which of the statements is wrong? If linked origin is not equal to translated origin, relocation must be performed by the linker. If load is not equal to linked origin, the loader must perform relocation. A linker always performs relocation, whereas some loaders do not. None of these. So let us break down each and every concept here. So they have given about the linked origin, translated origin, relocation, and load. Okay. So let us know about the linked origin and relocation. Okay. So in the context of linking and loading, relocation refers to the process of adjusting memory address within an executable file to match the actual memory locations where the code and data will be loaded at runtime. And linked origin. So this is the memory address where the linker assumes the program will be loaded. And translated origin, this is the actual memory address where the program is loaded by the loader. So from the given options, option A is the wrong one. Why? Because if linked origin is not equal to translated origin, relocation must be performed by the linker. So here the translated origin is the actual memory address and linked origin is the supposed, so it is the address where the linker assumes the program will be loaded, but it is not the actual address. So this is the statement, this statement is the incorrect one. The linker deals with the linked origin and assumes it to be the loading address. It is the loader's responsibility to perform relocation if the actual loading address, that is the translated origin, is different from the linked origin. So this is the wrong option. So option A is the wrong one. And the remaining options. So option B is correct, option C is correct. So option B. So if the actual loading address is different from the linked origin, the loader needs to adjust the memory address within the program to match the actual loading locations. And option C is also correct. As mentioned earlier, the linker's primary responsibility is to resolve symbols and create an object file with assumed memory address. The actual relocation is typically done by the loader. Okay. So option A is the wrong option. Next. Task done in passing R. Check the validity of a source string. Determine the syntactic structure of a source string. Options both A and B. None of these. Parsing or syntactic analysis is the process of analyzing a string of symbols either in natural or computer languages, conforming to the rules of a formal grammar. So option C is the correct one. Next. Yak builds up dash parsing table. Yak is a computer program for Unix operating system. It is a look-ahead left-to-right parser generator, the part of a compiler that tries to make syntactic sense of the source code. So it is option A, LALR parser. The action of passing the source program into the proper syntactic class is known as. So it is known as lexical analysis. Lexicon analysis is the first phase of a compiler. It takes the modified source code from language preprocessors that are written in the form of sentence. The lexical analyzer breaks the syntax into series of tokens by removing any white space or comment in the source code. A parser will take the input in the form of sequence of tokens or program instructions and usually builds a data structure in the form of a parse tree or an abstract syntax tree. So option A is correct one. The dynamic binding occurs during the compile time, runtime, linking time, pre-processing time. It will occur actually in the runtime. Dynamic binding is an object-oriented programming concept and it is related with polymorphism and inheritance. Dynamic binding means that a block of code executed with reference to a procedure call is determined at runtime. So there is a B. Option B is correct. The first OS of microprocessor is. The first OS of microprocessor is CPM. Next one. CPM means Control Program for Microcomputers. Was the first widely used OS for microprocessor developed in the late 1970s for early microcomputers. Atlas and THE were early OS but not microprocessors. Sage was an early computer system but not specifically for a microprocessor. So CPM is the first OS of a microprocessor. In processor management, round-robin method essentially uses the preemptive version of. So round-robin scheduling is a preemptive version of a first-in, first-out method. FIFO method. Okay. The option B is the correct one. Round-robin scheduling can be used as an alternative to first-come, first-served scheduling algorithm. So FCFS, here it is not given that, it is given as FIFO actually, first-in, first-out. So it is a preemptive version of the first-come, first-served scheduling algorithm. So it is also called as FIFO scheduling algorithm, FCFS or FIFO. Option B is the correct one. A page fault. So what is meant by a page fault? A page fault is a type of interrupt called trap raised by computer hardware when a running program accesses a memory page that is mapped into the virtual address space but not actually loaded into the main memory. So option D is the correct one. It is an access to page not currently in the main memory. So we know that, so whatever the pages that we want, that CPU wants to execute, it must be available in the main memory. If the page that we want to execute is currently not available in the main memory, that means it is being read from the virtual address space to main memory, then it will lead to a page fault. So option B is the correct one. Next, dash synchronizes critical resources to prevent a deadlock. Option C, that is a semaphore. So here P operator and V operator are part of a semaphore. So that's why option C is the correct one. We use the semaphores here to improve the synchronization between the different processes to access the critical section. Semaphore is a variable used for controlling access to a particular critical section. A semaphore is a variable used for controlling access by multiple processes to a common sharing resource in a concurrent system, such as a multi-programming operating system. If suppose there is a critical section and multiple processes wants to access this critical section. So if all the processes access the critical section at a time, then it will lead to some synchronization problems, or it may also lead to deadlock. and if you are allowing only one process at a time. Okay, so if you are allowing only one process to enter at a time, so allowing remaining process to wait here for a certain amount of time, then it won't lead to any deadlock and it will allow all the process to enter the critical section. So option C is the correct one. Next, the memory allocation scheme subject to external fragmentation is. External fragmentation exists when there is enough total memory to satisfy a request, but the total required memory is not available at a continuous location. External fragmentation can occur in segmentation and internal fragmentation can occur in paging. So this is the important thing that we have to remember. So normally many questions will be asked from external fragmentation and internal fragmentation. So where does the external fragmentation occur and where does the internal fragmentation occur? So internal fragmentation means the fragmentation occurs within the memory location, okay, not outside the memory location. So that's why external fragmentation occurs in segmentation, whereas the internal fragmentation occurs in paging. In software project planning, work breakdown structure must be dash. It must be a tree. In work breakdown is a hierarchical and incremental decomposition of the project into phases, deliverables and work packages. It is a tree structure which shows a subdivision on effort required to achieve an objective. For example, a program, project and contract. A tree is a graph, but convex may not be true. So option B is the correct one. Next. In software metrics, case cyclomatic number is given by following formula. So what is the cyclomatic complexity of a particular graph here in software metrics? Cyclomatic complexity is a software metric used to indicate the complexity of the program. It is a quantitative measure of the number of linearly independent paths through a program source code. It was developed by Thomas J. Neckett in 1976. So option A, that is E minus n plus 2t. So this is the formula, complexity formula for control to define the control flow graph, where E is the, so here E is the edges and n is the number of nodes of the graph and p is the number of components of the graph, number of connected components. In a good software design, dash coupling is desirable between modules. So least coupling is desirable between the modules. Why? Because coupling is the manner and degree of interdependence between software modules. It is a measure of how closely connected two routines or modules are. The strength of the relationship between modules coupling is usually contrasted with cohesion. So low coupling is often a sign of a well-structured computer system and a good design. So option D, that is the least coupling must be there between the modules in a software design. Next. System study yields the following. System study involves gathering information about the current system, including requirement specifications, process description, and identification of data sources. It helps in understanding the existing system and forms the foundation for designing a new or improved system. Thus, system study yields a requirement specification, prevailing process descriptions, and data source identification. The COCOMO model is used for. The COCOMO model is a procedural software cost estimation model developed by Boehm. The model uses a basic regression formula with parameters that are derived from historical project data and current as well as future project characteristics. So it is a software cost estimation model. Option D is the correct one. Next. MMS, Multimedia Messaging Service, uses dash type of messages to perform messaging transactions. So MMS is a store and forward method of transmitting graphics, video clips, audio files and short text messages over wireless network using the WAP protocol. So option A is the correct one. So we can send graphics, video clips, audio files and text messages. We can send 4 type of messages here through the MMS services. Next. Bluetooth technology uses the transmission media. Radio links, microwave links, V-side communication, optical fiber links. So Bluetooth technology uses the radio links. Radio link protocol is an automatic repeat request fragmentation protocol used over a wireless air interface. Most wireless air interfaces are tuned to provide 1% packet loss, and mostly they will send the message between the devices successfully. So that's why option A is the correct one, radio links. Downflow is the process associated with the dash and backup of data in a warehouse. So the option C, that is extraction, is the correct one. Downflow is the context of data warehouses, refers to the process of extracting data from various sources, which is then used for further processing, transformation and eventual loading into a data warehouse. So downflow is primarily associated with extraction of data. Next. Predictive modeling in data mining uses dash technique. So it uses the statistical technique. Predictive modeling in data mining uses statistical techniques. It uses statistics to product outcomes. Most often, then event one wants to product is in the future, but this modeling can be applied to any type of unknown event. Predictive modeling in data mining typically uses statistical techniques to predict future outcomes or trends based on historical data. It involves algorithms, statistical analysis to forecast the values or behaviors. The use of smart card represents a form of dash. It represents a form of authentication, right? If you are using a smart card or if you are paying a bill through your debit card or credit card, then it is giving proper authentication that you are the owner of the card and you have the complete access to that card. Smart card is a pocket-sized card that has embedded in ICs. They can be either wanted or contactless smart card. They can provide personal identification, authentication, data storage and application processing. So option D is the correct one. So this is about all the questions in June 2006 paper 2. I hope this video is useful for you. Thanks for watching my video.